Most of us have worn the tongue thin on the altar of need. We have pleaded, persuaded, bargained, as if a very patient second power sat across the table with a ledger, waiting to be convinced. We have tried to explain suffering to God and to inform omniscience of the emergency of the hour. And when the answer has not come, we have assumed a failure of method, more words, better words, stronger faith. Beloved, the failure is in the premise. Stop, stop, hold your tongue, let grace speak, be still, and know that I am God. Prayer begins there, where speech ends and recognition dawns. God is one. Where there is one, there is nothing to convince, nothing to move, nothing to improve. As long as you suppose there are two, your need on one side, a reluctant deity on the other, you will wear yourself out on a treadmill of holy talk. Let the tongue rest, let the heart become a listening place. What has petition won that presence would not freely be? The Master asked. Which of you by taking thought can add a cubit to his stature? Who can by good words make light appear? As long as you believe there is power in a good thought, you are far from the kingdom. Thought is not power, mind is not God, the Lord is. That's all. Either omnipotence is omnipotent, or we are engaged in religious theater, moving props while the stage remains dark. So you say, what shall I do? First, be very firm in your understanding of your own inadequacy. I can of my own self do nothing. The Father within me doeth the works. If the Master could confess that, who are we to improve upon it with eloquence? Cease informing God. Cease persuading God. Acquaint now thyself with him and be at peace. Recognition, not rhetoric. Knowing, not nudging. God is one. And in that oneness the works are already wrought. Where two or three are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst of them. We are not here to multiply words. We are here to multiply recognition. In united consciousness, the atmosphere changes not by emotional heat, but by holy hush. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it, yet it is felt as rest, as liberty. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Let us gather, then, not our arguments, but our stillness. Here is the promise. A shift from telling to knowing changes everything. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. God is. The door stands open when mouth is closed. Begin there. Let grace reveal what effort never could. Now, having set the tongue down where it belongs, let us be clear about the tool that brings us to that threshold, the letter of truth. The apostle said, the letter killeth, but the Spirit giveth life. He did not despise the letter. He warned its limits. Study, statements, discussions like this very hour. These are holy servants, not masters. They point, they do not perform. They show the way to the door. They are not the entry itself. God is one. Therefore, nothing secondary, no sentence, no thought can be the power. The Lord is the power. What then is the office of the letter? To lift us above the restless mechanism of thinking into the readiness of awareness. A good passage, rightly pondered, is a broom that sweeps the mind's room, a raft that carries you beyond argument to the edge of silence. Acquaint now thyself with him and be at peace is not an order to recite. It is a hand on the shoulder steering you to quiet. When it has pointed, let it bow. Do not worship the signpost. Be gently warned. Repeating statements isn't realization. Affirmations are not power. As long as you believe there is virtue in words, you remain far from the kingdom. My thoughts are not your thoughts, saith the Lord. So let the statement be as small as truth requires God is, and then be still. Not God is, therefore my rent is paid. Not God is, therefore the symptom fades. God is, period. The period is surrender. The stillness is prayer. How shall you practice? Take a line of scripture or a single truth. God is. Read it once, twice, not to gather arguments, but to open a window. Close the book. Close the lips. Hold everything that would finish the sentence. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Rest there is one who can of his own self do nothing, and who needs do nothing but receive. The letter sets the table, let grace serve. The Father within doeth the works, not memory, not mental push, and what follows cannot be scheduled. In the hush, recognition dawns of its own accord, like a still small voice that is not voice, an isness requiring no performance. You will not hear a plan. You will sense presence. You cannot see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it. Nevertheless, you know. That knowing is spirit. It heals without explaining, orders without effort, supplies without bargaining. The letter has bowed. Silence has birthed recognition. God is one. God is. Enter by that door and abide in that room. Now let us face the deepest habit we carry, the oldest superstition in religion and philosophy alike, the belief that there are two powers contending for your life, spirit and matter, truth and error, health and disease, abundance and lack, good thoughts and bad thoughts. That is the true God's habit. It hides in pious clothing. It hides in refined metaphysics. It hides even in your silent practice. If you are using silence as a lever against something, hear it unmasked. You think a bad thought can hurt you, and a good thought can save you. You think disease has a will, and remedy has a greater will. You think fear is a force, and courage is a stronger force. As long as you grant power to either side of that seesaw, you are far from the kingdom. God is power. Therefore, there is only one power, not one big power among others. One power, and beside it no other. I am the Lord, and there is none else. If this is truth, then thoughts, good or bad, are not powers. As long as you believe there is power in a good thought, you have admitted the existence of its opposite. You have enthroned mind as a little god. Who by taking thought can add a cubit to his stature? Who by thinking can make one hair white or black? If thought could, the world would long ago have been redeemed by the industrious thinkers, but not by might nor by power, not by mental push, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. So stop warring with shadows. Stop. Do not fight fear. Recognize the presence that renders fear a ghost of nothing. Do not battle disease. Acknowledge the life that leaves no second life to oppose it. Do not try to outshout lack with affirmations. Rest in the allness that precludes an opposite. When the light is on, you do not rebuke the dark. The dark has no substance to rebuke. You do not sweep out shadows. You open the blinds. In the same way, you do not cast out error by excitable thought. You let recognition reveal there was never a second power to begin with. But you say, something presses on me. I feel it. Yes, sensations press and thoughts parade, but power is not in sensation and life is not in appearances. You cannot see, hear, taste, touch, smell, or think the one power. Nevertheless, it is the only is. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. If all is the Lord's, where is the rival? If the shepherd is one and present, what wolf remains to devour? The master did not instruct us to condition the wolf. He said, fear not, little flock. And he said, take no thought for your life. Why? Because thought neither feeds nor clothes. Grace does. Consider the lilies. And consider also that lilies do not plan. Train yourself then in this single axiom until it saturates the atmosphere of your day. God is power. Therefore, there is only one power. Let every report, every symptom, every mood that rises be met not with counterthought, but with quiet recognition. God is. The recognition is the light, the appearances are the shadows. Do not confer reality upon the shadow by wrestling it. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, not the victory of one force over another, but the revelation that there was never another. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Where oneness is recognized, the two gods habit dissolves like mist in the morning, and harmony is found to have been present, awaiting only the end of our divided believing. God is one. God is. That is the end of rivalry and the beginning of peace. If there is only one power, what becomes of your straining? If God is one, what office remains for the personal doer? Hear the Master's own confession. Make it your own. I can of my own self do nothing. The Father within me doeth the works. Be very firm in your understanding of your own inadequacy. Not morbidly, not to be crushed, but to be freed. As long as you imagine a little savior inside your chest, a heroic will with techniques and spiritual bravado, you are far from the kingdom. Cease trying to be God's assistant. Stop. Stop. Let omnipotence be omnipotent. Surrender is not defeat. Surrender is sanity. Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. The moment you set down the tool belt of mental carpentry, plans, affirmations, improving thoughts, and whisper only, let me feel thy presence. You have turned it over to the only worker there is. This is not an order to heaven. This is an opening of the heart. My thoughts are not your thoughts. Good. Let them cease their parade. Be still and know that I am God. Let that be the whole instruction. In that rest, something happens that is not the product of your cleverness. Grace appears. Reject spiritual heroics. No person heals. No personality. No power of concentration. No teacher's aura changes reality. Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one. God and the practitioner and the patient are one. That which constitutes a practitioner is simply a state of consciousness that knows this truth. Do away with all formulas, all rehearsed words, all timed treatments that promise results if you push hard enough. As long as you have faith in a good thought or a sacred routine, you are admiring the paint on the door and never entering the room. Enter. How? By not entering, by letting the Father be the door, the room, and the dwelling. And you do not do this alone. Where two or three are gathered in his name, there he is in the midst. The united consciousness of this room is your advantage. In this shared hush, 10 righteous ones are enough to sway a city. How much more to lift a single burden here? Draw on nothing personal. Lean into the presence that is already established by our common recognition. United awareness does the heavy lifting. You need only stop lifting against it. What is the fruit of such surrender? Effort relaxes, grace appears. My grace is sufficient for thee. The jaw unclenches, the mind's fist opens, and a quiet order is felt that does not come with proof texts or promises. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. You do not watch a lever move. You discover there was no weight on the scale. Harmony is revealed, not manufactured. Begin now, without drama. Let your prayer be one admission and one awareness. I of my own self do nothing. God is. The Father within doeth the works. Now I am going to ask you to do something blessedly ordinary, the simplest obedience to spirit. Let the tongue rest. Hold those teeth together. Stop, stop. The Master said, Enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray. Shut the door, literally, close the mouth. There is nothing to inform omniscience. Treat God as omniscience. If God is, what could your cleverness add? If the Father within doeth the works, what instruction of yours is needed? None. Be very firm in your understanding of your own inadequacy and of God's sufficiency. Breathe once, and not as a technique, but as a courtesy to stillness. Let the breath arrive and depart of its own accord. Soften the forehead, unknit it, loosen the small muscles around the eyes. Let the jaw be easy and the tongue settle like a little boat on a quiet harbor. Lips together, teeth resting, not clenched, hands wherever they fall without meaning anything. Then allow attention to drop as a feather falls from the head into the heart, not to find a feeling, not to stir one up, but to abide where no sentences are required. Say inwardly only this once: God is. That is the door. Now drop the words and enter the room. Do not finish the sentence. Do not attach a project to God. Be still and know that I am God. Stay here for 60 seconds, 1 honest minute. Do nothing. Receive everything. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Let that minute not be packed with trying, but hollowed out by trust. Mind will volunteer. It will ask to help. Decline the assistance. If a thought comes dressed as prayer, do not scold it and do not follow it. Let it pass across the sky of you without comment. If a need shouts, do not turn it into a topic. Take no thought for your life. The shepherd knows his sheep without your dispatches. Keep the door shut. Hold those teeth together. Let your tongue fall silent before you talk to God. Acquaint now thyself with him and be at peace. During that minute, there may be no sign, no sound, no light. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it. Nevertheless, presence announces itself by being, not by event. My grace is sufficient for thee. Liberty does not rush in like noise. It rises like a law already present. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty, and the Spirit is not summoned by syllables. It is recognized by rest. When the minute completes, do not slam the door open. Simply let the awareness widen while the hush remains. No benediction from your lips, no verdict from your mind. God is. That is all. This is true prayer. Literal stillness, a closed mouth, a heart receiving what it could never manufacture. Short, clean, honest. Stop, and let the Father within do the works. Let us make this very plain, very simple. 2 minutes. The first to see the old habit, the second to live the new. Do not dramatize it. Do not improve it. We are not trying to get God's attention. We are letting go of ours. Minute 1 before. Allow the habit to present itself honestly. Notice how quickly the inner tongue rises to say, "Oh God, please, because if only what shall I do about?" See the small rush in the chest, the shoulders leaning forward, the forehead recruiting. This is the personal doer putting on its little cape. Watch it start a sentence, let it get halfway through, then stop. Hold those teeth together. Let the last word fall off the cliff of your lips and do not go after it. Do not finish the sentence. Let the request hang in midair and evaporate. I can of my own self do nothing. The Father within me doeth the works. Be very firm in your understanding of your own inadequacy. Feel the emptiness that opens when you don't complete your plea. Do not rush to fill it with a better plea. Shut the door. Enter the closet. This is not rudeness to heaven. This is reverence to omniscience. You will feel the impulse to resume just one more clause, just one more explanation. Decline, Let your tongue fall silent before you talk to God. If the mind offers a plan, let it pass like a cart down a street that is not yours. Do not chase it. Do not bless it. Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful. Let the many fall. Let the one stand. Stay there in the half sentence that never becomes a sentence at all. This is the end of petition. This is the end of taking thought. Minute 2, presence. Inwardly, once, only once, whisper, God is. Do not decorate it. Do not apply it. God is. That is the door. Now enter the room. Be still and know that I am God. No more words, not even holy ones, not even this teaching. Sink as a stone sinks through water into the floor of silence. Take no thought for your life. Let the shepherd shepherd. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Markers may appear. They are not the point. They are the weather of grace, a softening in the chest that is not self-induced. The forehead unknits of its own accord, a sense of okayness that offers no argument, no file folder, no, because a quiet clarity, not a decision tree, just space, not a plan, just peace. The peace of God, which passeth understanding, cannot be diagrammed, yet it is present as an atmosphere. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Liberty from pushing, liberty from finishing sentences God never asked you to begin. Beware, then, of chasing sensations. Do not go fishing for warmth, for light, for tingles. Do not make a museum of signs. Recognition is the prayer, not sensation. If nothing is felt, stay. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it. Nevertheless, God is. Harmony does not come by might or by power, not by the bright color of an experience, but by grace. Let grace be grace. Let presence be self-evident without your help. Now, as the 2 minutes complete, do not reopen the mouth to pronounce a verdict on them. Do not label this successful or unsuccessful. Leave the scales in the temple overturned. Simply let awareness widen while the hush remains. God is. The Father within doeth the works. Who by taking thought added a cubit in these 2 minutes? No one. Yet something truer than effort has stood forth. It may show itself as rest, as simplicity, as the edge taken off the trouble without any mental sanding. It may show itself as nothing at all, and yet everything is changed because the premise is no longer 2, but 1. Carry this with you, not by extending the minutes, but by letting them recur short, clean, honest. Stop mid-sentence whenever you find yourself explaining to God. Close the door. Whisper once, God is, and abide where words cannot work and do not need to, for the work is already done in the one. Prayer, then, is not an address to a distant ear. It is recognition, wordless receiving of the presence, that is, be still and know that I am God. Not be busy and inform me. Not persuade, improve, or cajole. God is one. Where there is one, there is nothing to move and no one to convince. As long as you think your words can accomplish what only being can reveal, you remain outside the room describing its furniture. Enter by silence. Treat God as omnipresence, omniscience, omnipotence, not as an absentee in need of dispatches, and you will discover that true prayer begins where speech ends. In that discovery, the axis shifts from might to mercy, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Your will, your concentration, your practiced eloquence, put them down. My grace is sufficient for thee. Grace, not push, unveils the harmony already present. Think of a window. You do not strain light through glass. You lift the shade. Recognition lifts the shade. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it. Nevertheless, grace is the only is that heals. True prayer puts you on the receiving end of God. Therefore, forget effects, no cause, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added. Do not pray for supply, realize God as the substance of all. Do not pray for health, recognize life that knows no opposite. Do not pray for peace, abide the presence that is peace. Demonstrate God, and forms align by themselves as byproducts of realized oneness. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Want dissolves not by arrangement, but by recognition. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Spirit is not a mood and not a method. Spirit is the living isness of God. Recognize Spirit, and liberty appears not as a prize earned, but as the nature of where you are. In Him we live and move and have our being. Prayer is consenting to that being. No bargaining, no performance. Consent. How, then? Once, only once, let the words God is open the door. Then stop. Stop. Hold those teeth together. Let the Father within do the works. Remain without demand, without project, without finishing a single sentence. Acquaint now thyself with Him and be at peace. In that quiet consent, you are no longer the doer. You are the recipient of what eternally is. This is prayer as recognition, the end of asking, the beginning of being, the receiving end of God. Some of you are saying within yourselves, I do not know if any of this is real. I have said God is and felt nothing. Am I only hypnotizing myself? Good. Have the courage, if necessary, to doubt that God is clean. Doubt is an advantage. It spares you the vanity of secondhand conviction. Lord, I believe, help thou mine unbelief. That is not an apology. It is honesty. Be very firm in your understanding of your own inadequacy to manufacture faith. Do not try to rev your motor with pep talk religion. Stop, turn it over to the Father. How shall you doubt rightly? Not with arguments for and against, not with quotations marshaled like soldiers to win a skirmish of mind. Bring your doubt into the closet, shut the door, hold those teeth together, say once, God is, as the door, and then let even that be silent. Take no thought for your life, for your doubt, or for your outcome. Be still and know that I am God. Do not try to feel. Do not try to not feel. Let doubt sit beside you like a guest to whom you owe no speech. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Understand this. You can't see God, hear God, taste God, touch God, smell God, or think God. The senses do not certify spirit. The mind cannot capture omniscience. My thoughts are not your thoughts. Therefore, do not make a microscope of intellect or a telescope of sensation. Be still and know. The knowing of God is not a content of mind. It is presence recognized when mind and sense consent to be quiet. What then becomes of doubt? If doubt is but a mask for fear, its breath runs out in silence. If doubt is a demand for proofs, it withers when no proofs are offered, and yet peace appears. If doubt is honest emptiness, blessed are the poor in spirit, it becomes room for grace. You do not push it out, you do not defend against it, you do not sermonize it. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Let falsity fall of itself. If there is nothing to it, it cannot stand in the hush. If truth is truth, it requires no defense. It stands when defense ceases, as scales fall of their own accord from the eyes. Prove me now herewith, saith the Lord. Prove not by debate, but by stillness. Enter the room without a banner of belief, only a willingness not to speak. Whisper once, God is, then stop. Do not rescue your doubt and do not exile it. Simply abide. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty, liberty even from the fear of doubting. In that liberty, something unarguable announces itself without words, without sensation, without thought. You will not know how you know. You will simply find that you do. Clean doubt, held in silence, matures into knowing. And that knowing is not yours. It is the Father within doing the convincing. Now let us put this into action where it is most tempted to become technique, healing. Hear it once more until it saturates you, God. And the practitioner and the patient are one, not allied, one. In him we live and move and have our being. That which constitutes a practitioner is not a person with a power. It is a state of consciousness that knows this truth. Therefore, do away with all formulas, affirmations, time treatments, bargains, and mental transmissions. We do not send truth across a distance. Omnipresence can't be imported. We recognize what is already here. When a call for help comes, do not take the problem into your thought and dress it in holy language. Stop, stop, hold those teeth together. Shut the door. Say once within, God is one. Then be still. Be very firm in your understanding of your own inadequacy. I can of my own self do nothing. The Father within me doeth the works. Take no thought for the symptom, the cause, the date, the name. Do not visualize, affirm, or oppose. Rest until a hush of assurance appears, not as a mood, but as presence. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it. Nevertheless, you know, my peace I give unto you, not as the world gives. In that hush there may come no words, or a word may rise of itself. Peace be still, or simply a gentle, it is well. Do not manufacture it. Let it happen, or let it not. The work is not speech. The work is recognition, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. When recognition stands, the two gods' habit collapses, and wholeness that always was stands forth. Healing is not produced, it is revealed. Release outcomes. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. The form of evidence rearranges itself without announcement. A pain loosens like a knot that cannot remember being tied. A mind clears as if a curtain was never there. A ledger balances with no hero on the page. The report of grace is quiet, no fanfare, no willpower glow. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Liberty from effort, liberty from fear, liberty from method. If you are asked later, what did you do? Tell the truth. I did not do. I consented. God is one. That is the entire treatment and the end of treatments. In that one, presence, practitioner, patient, and problem are no longer three. Only God is. And where God is, the works are already wrought. We have seen that healing is not produced but revealed, and that it is the Father within who doeth the works. Now we must form the habit that keeps the door unlatched, not by long exertions, not by spiritual marathons, but by short periods, many times. Not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Think not in hours, think in breaths. We are cultivating an atmosphere, not performing a project. Frequent, brief surrender cultivates a durable atmosphere of grace. Upon waking before the day, can recruit you 30 to 90 seconds. Do not sit up to strategize your holiness. Simply whisper once within, God is. Hold those teeth together, be still, and know that I am God. Take no thought for the appointments in the inbox that wait like children at the door. Close the door. Let the Father within do the works. At midday, between tasks, between bites, between sentences, again, 30 to 90 seconds. Stop. Stop. Do not finish the email to heaven you were about to send. God is the evening before the house tells its stories and the world resumes inside your head again a minute. And before sleep, when mind grows sentimental and wants a bedtime prayer story, no story, God is. One door, same room, short visits. This is not striving, it is reception. I can of my own self do nothing. Good. Then do nothing briefly, often. Treat these pauses as you would the turning of your face to the sun. You do not command the light. You consent to it. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. A single clean minute repeated becomes a climate. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it. Nevertheless, the air of you sweetens. Thought loses its throne. Grace quietly occupies the house. Do not limit this to 4 corners of the day. Use the kettle, the elevator, the red light, the threshold before a meeting, the hush while a phone rings. One inner word, God is, and then no words. Hold those teeth together. Do not improve the minute with holy extras. Short, clean, honest. The cumulative effect is not the arithmetic of minutes. It is the dissolving of the personal doer so many times that presence becomes the default. Pray without ceasing is not chatter without ceasing. It is recognition returning so frequently that it begins to abide. And remember, your little minutes are not little. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst. If there be 10 righteous in a city, shall not the city be spared? Think of the handful in realization at dawn, scattered through streets and homes, each closing the mouth and consenting God is. That united consciousness blesses more than the practitioner, more than the household. It lifts the atmosphere of a neighborhood, a hospital ward, an office floor. Ye are the light of the world, not by will, but by isness recognized. Light does not argue with darkness. It shines, and the shadows forget themselves. If you forget, begin again. No scolding, no tally. Stop. Stop. Whisper once, God is, and enter the room. Do this today and tomorrow and the day after, and you will discover that what were pauses become presence, and what were minutes become a life. My grace is sufficient for thee. God is one. God is. Abide there briefly and often until the often becomes always, and the always is not work, but grace. We do not leave this in a room or a minute. It must become the way we see everything. Finance, health, relationships, one presence, one power, one life, expressing itself as the forms of our day. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added. God is one. Therefore, cease asking supply to come from places and persons. Recognize source. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Substance is God. Supply is the movement of that substance as idea, as opportunity, as sufficiency. Whisper once, God is, and be still. My thoughts are not your thoughts, so yield the outcome to omniscience. Do not outline. Stop. In the hush, fear loosens, clutching eases, and what was lacked becomes an avenue for grace to make itself known, sometimes as a check, sometimes as a new vision of enough measure by peace. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. In health, the same law. Take no thought for your life. Do not resist symptoms as powers. They are reports, not laws. As long as you fight shadows, you give them your candle. Be still and know that I am God. Let the Father within do the works. Rest in God is until the fear has no object to cling to. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it. Nevertheless, life is. The peace of God which passeth understanding is the first evidence. Forms follow. Sometimes the knot unties. Sometimes a path opens to the right practitioner or decision without debate. Sometimes strength to endure appears, and the problem forgets to be a problem, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit. And in relationships, abandon the project of fixing people. Judge not. You were not appointed custodian of other minds. Behold one life forming every meeting. Have we not all one Father? Hath not one God created us? When you enter a room, stop the inner speech about histories and roles. Whisper once, God is, and drop it. Look out and in with the same recognition. God is the substance here, the mind here, the love here. Then conversation unwinds without manipulation. Forgiveness happens before offense. Guidance rises without argument. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty, liberty from grievance and from neediness. My thoughts are not your thoughts. Yield outcomes to omniscience. Peace first, then forms align of themselves as byproducts of realized oneness. So in every need, do not push. Recognize. Enter the closet of the heart and be still. God is one. God is. Let grace be the arranger, the healer, the harmonizer. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord now. Now take the whole of this teaching and reduce it to two words that are not a charm, not a drumbeat, but a door. God is. Use them sparingly. Whisper once, not to begin a chant, but to end a sentence. God is. Stop. Stop. Hold those teeth together. Let the words fall away as quickly as they came, and allow the silence to say what words cannot. Be still and know that I am God. The knowing is in the be still. The be still is the room. After the two words, do not add a third. Do not affix an object. Do not say, God is my supply, my health, my guidance. You have already returned to the letter when you decorate the door. God is. That is enough to open the door. Abiding silence does the work, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Spirit cannot be pulled through syllables. It is recognized in quiet. Rest here in identity, not boasting, not shrinking. As long as God is, I am. Not I, the performer. Not I, the planner. I can of my own self do nothing. The Father within me doeth the works. Therefore, because God is, I am included in that isness, safe without trying, present without proving, sustained without bargaining. In Him we live and move and have our being. Let the sentence end there. Let the room speak. If the mind resumes its chattering because it will, do not wrestle it and do not follow it. Return gently, like placing a cup back on its saucer. Once more, and only once. God is, then rest again. Two words, as door, silence as room. No counting, no measuring, no success or failure reports. My peace I give unto you, not as the world gives, without ledger, without grade. Trust sufficiency. The presence knows, the presence is, the presence does. Before Abraham was, I am. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it. Nevertheless it is. The shepherd does not require a map from the sheep. Take no thought for your life. Acquaint now thyself with him, and be at peace. Let God is return you to the threshold. Let the hush receive you beyond it. Do not labor consent. Do not outline, recognize. God is. The door is open. Remain while the Father within doeth the works. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Stay in that liberty a minute or a breath or the space between words, and let grace be grace. We have come to the simple end that is a beginning. Recognition has replaced petition. Peace has replaced pressure. Not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. We have learned to shut the door, to hold those teeth together, and to consent to grace. You know the difference now between talking about God and knowing God, between addressing a sky and abiding in omnipresence. Be still and know that I am God. Feel how the strain that used to lean forward has sat back into rest, how the hand that used to clench has opened without plan. This is fruit. This is the peace of God, which passeth understanding, not as a prize, but as the nature of one. Now let us widen the circle without will, without aim. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Liberty does not ask permission. It reveals itself. In united consciousness, we do not send out thoughts like arrows. We recognize one presence everywhere, and recognition is the shining. Picture without effort, without painting your street at night, a nurse on the late round, a baker proving dough before dawn, a child turning in sleep, a judge setting down a pen, a bus humming across town. Do nothing to them. Do nothing for them. Simply know God is. God is one. The same presence that rests you rests them. In him we live and move and have our being. If there are 10 righteous in a city, shall not the city be spared? Let there be 10 in this room, and 10 in rooms like this across the world, consenting, not performing. That consent is a quiet lamp in many windows. Let us make a covenant now, clean and irrevocable. We will not pray to God again. We will pray by recognition. No more advising omniscience. No more bargaining with love. God is. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. As often as the old tongue rises, we will stop. Stop, hold those teeth together. I can of my own self do nothing. The Father within me doeth the works. From this night, prayer in us will be wordless receptivity, discipline, stillness, fearless acknowledgement of one. And now, without statement, without aim, let blessing move as being itself. See no enemies, no strangers, no others. Judge not. Acquaint now thyself with him, and be at peace. Let the recognition of one be our only ministry. God is the life here. God is the mind here. God is the love here. Everywhere here. We will end as we must live, in silence. Close the door. Hold those teeth together. Say once, within, and only once, God is. Then do not add a third word. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. 1 minute, we depart not with promises, but with shared recognition of one presence. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Let grace be the last word. Let grace be the only word. God is